Boom! What is up, Waves Capital? It's Royce Jacob. Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to be talking about how the biggest week of Q2 earnings season is upon us, with 150 of the companies within the S&P 500 scheduled to make their reports. Of course, we will be going over some of the bigger names recording, so we'll scroll down this pretty lengthy article, but we will keep it short and sweet. Go over the calendar week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Go over some of the household names that are reporting on these given days. And although we won't be diving into detail because I don't really feel that's necessary, I just want to put these guys on your radar because there are some, once again, household names, titans of industry that are scheduled to report this week. I mean, that's like that's about 30% of the S&P 500 that is reporting today, or over the course of the week, I'm sorry. So, staggering week. Huge week when it comes to the macro, and although I remain bearish on mega cap stocks, I do remain bullish on small cap stocks, and that's really what I want the focus of this video to be. This is a trading focused channel. Around here we are traders. We're definitely investors as well, but we stay active, we trade the markets, and I want to talk to you guys about how I'm personally managing my portfolio through what is the earnings season for mega caps, and also talk a little bit about the upcoming earnings season for small caps, because again, that is where my focus personally is right now, and I'm very excited for some of the specific small caps in the Waves Capital portfolio, and just in general as well. So we'll kick off the video by reading over just a few short paragraphs from the newsletter that I wrote and sent out on Friday. That was covering just my macro take, what's going on with the earnings, what's going on with the market, just to give you guys my summarized, composed thoughts as to, once again, why I'm bullish on small caps and bearish on mega caps. And to supplement that, I do also want to reference this chart from Yardeni Research. Great site. If you guys haven't checked them out before, go check out yardeni.com. A lot of great free charting. It's pretty crazy how it's all free, but it is. Go check them out if you are involved in the macro or just the trading game in general yourself. But this will supplement just my general reasoning as to why I remain bearish on mega caps. But again, really want the focus of this video to be on small caps and how I'm navigating what is going to be the biggest week of the earnings season. Again, titans are reporting this week. So we'll cover this at the very end, but not at the very end. We'll read through this guy. We'll take a look at this guy. We'll read through this. It should be quick. Again, we'll keep it short and sweet. And then at the very end of the video, I do want to take a look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency space shaping up pretty nicely as we head into the new trading week. So the reason that I want to look at Bitcoin, and the reason I actually want to talk about, we can make a little comment on a render token as well. At the very end of the video, we'll take a very quick look at render token just as a cherry on top. Speaking of being bullish on select small caps, crypto tends to act, and I've said this many times, and again, if you're part of the newsletter, you would know this as well. Crypto tends to act as a very good indicator of the equity markets. So equity futures, you can find equity futures, CNBC, CNN, on Sunday especially, but whether they're down or whether they're up, I've always found that equity future indexes really don't mean all that much, but crypto does, and the performance of crypto going into a new trading week really acts as a much better indicator of equity futures as opposed to the actual futures themselves. So we'll take a look at Bitcoin at this moment in time. It's difficult and it is irrational from a technical perspective to not be feeling bullish on Bitcoin, just simply due to the fact that it is in a technical breakout and short-term uptrend. So we'll close out the video taking a look at Bitcoin, give you guys my price targets, kind of rationalize my price targets there, and then the cherry on top will be render. Okay, so let's get to reading this. Before we do, you guys, please let me know in the comments down below, are you going to play any of the earnings this week? Personally, I'm not. I'm focusing once again on some of my favorite small caps in the game. But let me know in the comments, are you going to be playing the earnings? And if so, which ones and why? Okay. So once again, we'll go over some of the names reporting, some of the just the scale of the week ahead of us. But once again, let's read over this guy. Although the mega caps do dictate the general sentiment of the market, my focus remains on small to mid caps. I was pleased to see the headline below this morning. I'll also attach an excerpt from the article itself. So This was, once again, an article that I stumbled across on good old CNBC Pro on Friday morning. And this article really aligned with kind of the sentiment WavesCap we've held over here at WavesCap for a while, which is small caps will ultimately outperform mega caps over the remainder of the year. So RBC cuts S&P 500 forecast like small caps into the end of 2022. Quote from, and this is just a short excerpt from that article to sum up kind of just the gist of that article. Historically, recessions have tended to be good buying opportunities for small caps. Calvasina said they tend to underperform while stocks are falling or heading into an early recession and then tend to lead once the broader U.S. equity market has bottomed midway through the recession. So to address this, once again, I don't think the S&P 500 has bottomed, simply due to the fact that we have not reverted to the mean, especially in this macroeconomic, especially with this macroeconomic backdrop. Jeez. What the heck happened there? Especially during this macroeconomic climate with the Fed raising rates, literally trying to tamper the economy into recession. Maybe we're in like a subtle recession just due to the fact that inflation is so high and unemployment is up. It feels pretty recessionary, but the market has not yet reflected the reality of the poor economy. So I do think that the S&P 500 will at least revisit that high, and I've been saying this a lot, around 3,400, which was the pre-pandemic high in February of 2020 right there prior to that massive drop. So I do think we have a little more ways down to go. If you look at historical recessions, I mean, in 2008, if this went back to 2001, I believe 2001 we saw like a 50% correction. 2008 saw a 56%, like a 57% correction. And right now we're only at, move my fat head, we're only at a 23% correction. So do I think we'll see a 50% correction? Do I even think we'll see a 40% correction? I honestly don't. But do I think like a 30 to 35% correction, once again, to revisit the previous high prior to the pandemic, coming off of some pretty damn inflated rallies anyway, just a bull market overall, like a 10-year bull market. I do think that more downside is ahead given the macroeconomic backdrop, and I'm not going to get into any more specifics on that because we have been covering this nonstop for the past few months now, okay? But again, regardless of my bearish sentiment around mega caps, although they do dictate the sentiment of the markets, in general, I do think small caps have a very good shot. And by small caps, I mean like the stocks that we love around here, Riot, Mara, Vuzix, maybe not Vuzix, SoFi, I guess Vuzi, but SoFi, genome companies. I don't know why I'm blanking so hard on these names. I also don't want to kind of just give out the portfolio right now. But again, so many names, so many small caps, hyper growth stocks that have gotten overly beaten down and excessively beaten down in the past 6 months or so since those November highs, I do think have a really good shot at coming back over the fall winter months. Okay, we've been saying this for a while now, and I believe that as we move through the coming months, we'll see continued validation on this thesis. As overinflated mega caps continue to correct, capital will find a home in overbeaten small caps. Now, obviously, just because a stock has a small market cap doesn't mean it's guaranteed to perform. As we've also been saying, I should say. This is a stock picker's market, and investors are required to do more diligence than ever in order to find the winners. So far, we've done an impressive job at picking out the winners, definitely better than picking out the losers. Obviously, don't scuff that on Tesla, but I trust we'll continue to do so. So to address the Tesla thing, and again, if you guys are part of the newsletter and portfolio fam, you know that Tesla was, even though I made YouTube videos on Tesla was still, like, that position was still a small part of my portfolio. And it was very heavily offset by the bullish price action that we saw in other names within the portfolio. Again, a lot of my select small caps that I'm very bullish on right now, and that have been the calls and shares on those have been doing as great over the past couple of months since that May bottom. So, again, if you aren't part of the newsletter, if you aren't part of the portfolio, it's important to understand that just because I make videos on something, that's usually a very, very small aspect of what my portfolio looks like and the performance of Waves Capital overall. Okay, so that's just a little PSA right there. Let's close this out. Again, we've done a great job at picking out the winners, and I trust that we'll continue to do so. Feeling a very lucrative fall winter season for Waves Capital. But for now, let's enjoy the rest of the summer. And again, even if we do see some short-term downside, like we did to close out last week, like we did on Friday, I'm stoked because I'm very, very bullish on, once again, these select names as we head into the new year. So I will be making my top 3 stocks of maybe my top 1 to 3 stocks, depending on how I feel, depending on how the market's looking, and just kind of what I might want to make a video on of August very soon, because we're closing out the month of July. But if you guys want to know what the portfolio is looking like at this very moment, and from here on out, as long as you're subscribed, I guess you can unsubscribe at any time, of course, but I trust you'll want to stick around if you want to join the winning team. If you want to know how I trade on a day-to-day basis, how the portfolio looks every single day, along with the newsletters that I write every single day. First is the trade alert, where I rationalize my trades. Then comes the macro analysis, which was this puppy right here. And then price targets, where I include 5 to 6 charts every day on the names that are most relevant to us here at Waves Cap. Okay, so that is every traded day. If you want all of this, that's only going to be $15 a month or $40 for every 3 months. Completely up to you. Once again, you can always unsubscribe, but I trust you'll want to stick around, and I trust you will not regret your decision if you give it a shot. So that's the first link down below. Appreciate it if you check that out. And if not, no worries at all. It's your loss, but I appreciate you watching right here, right now. Okay, so all that said, again, bullish on small caps. I do think that as capital, like Snapchat, we can actually scroll to the top of this. This is where I covered Snapchat. Snapchat was down on Friday over 40%. And that is pretty staggering. So companies this week, Amazon, Apple, Meta, or Facebook, which, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see, especially following the Snapchat news. As capital flows out of these massive companies with massive market caps, it will still want to find a new home. Capital, regardless of whether it's in mega caps or small caps, when it's invested into the markets, the intention of that capital, of invested capital, is to return a return on your investment, provide an ROI, okay, return on investment. And again, whether it's mega caps or whether it's small caps, capital wants to find a home. Capital wants to make a return on itself. And I think small caps are looking exceptionally appealing, especially relative to some of the mega caps. And I think that will become very evident to many investors over the course of earnings this week. Okay, so speaking of the massive names that are reporting, let's go over the calendar and then take a look at Bitcoin and Render to close out the video. Okay, brace yourselves. This upcoming week will be one of the busiest of the corporate earnings season, with more than 150 S&P 500 names set to report. Apple, Alphabet, Meta Platforms, and McDonald's are amongst those on deck. The earnings season has been a mixed bag thus far. Roughly 21% of the S&P 500 components have reported through Friday, with nearly 70% beating analyst expectations. So far, pretty damn good. Pretty better than many individuals have been expecting, including myself, just to be honest. And a lot of you guys would know that. There have been some big upside surprises, including Netflix. However, companies including Snap have posted much weaker than expected results. Again, poor Snapchat got smoked. Evan Spiegel's net worth almost got hit as hard as mine last week. But, okay. So anyway, Tuesday, we got Coca-Cola reporting before the bell. We got McDonald's reporting pre-market. We got GM, General Motors, slated to post before open. Alphabet is scheduled to report before the bell, which is crazy. We're still on Tuesday, you guys. So Monday, the calm before the storm. Tuesday, again, massive names. Alphabet, Google reporting. And it will be interesting to see what happens with these companies that are heavily based upon ad revenue for their general revenue metrics and profit. So Google, Facebook. Going to be very interesting to see what happens there. Microsoft also reporting after the close. We got Chipotle reporting after the close as well. Wednesday, Boeing, good old jet manufacturer. We got Qualcomm. We got Ford. We have Meta. Again, Meta is going to be very interesting. And then Thursday, Amazon is set to report after the bell. Amazon is, if many of you guys, I shouldn't say many of you, I'm assuming at least some of you heard about the fact that they had a blockbuster. They had a record Prime Day. But the caveat to that was the fact that I think they were liquidating a lot of their Amazon Basics products. And they've actually decided to to cut a lot of those listings completely because the basic economics don't make sense. So Amazon is going to be an interesting one. I'm super excited to see what happens with Amazon because obviously inflation due to higher shipping costs, that is a direct impact on Amazon due to low demand. And again, although they did have a blockbuster Prime Day, a record-setting Prime Day, they were just getting rid of a lot of their in-house branded inventory for like 70 to 80% off. So that helps. Maybe people are buying that smaller ticket stuff, but again, whether they're buying flat screens and like crock pots and stuff, air fryers, kind of some of that more mid-tier stuff, I think was significantly lower this Prime Day. So that's important to keep in mind. Amazon is going to be very interesting to see what happens with that one. We got Apple reporting on Thursday as well, and that is going to be the big one. So Thursday is the day to look out for. That's what I'm really excited about, Apple and Amazon reporting. And then Friday we have Procter & Gamble, ExxonMobil, Chevron, all the oil giants that are probably just crushing it right now. And that is the week. Again, 150 names are going to be reporting this week. Those are just a few of them. But stay on your toes, guys, and again, let me know in the comments down below if you are going to play any of these in your personal portfolio. Close out. Let's take a quick look at good old BTC. Bitcoin looking good. Again, Bitcoin did break out of this. I actually want to change the color on this. We'll change this to red. Okay, so Bitcoin did break since we broke above this red line right here that I just switched to red. Significant line of resistance on the overall downtrend. Zoom out here. Little congested because we're on 4-hour candles, but that's all right. So long-term line of resistance on the downtrend that Bitcoin's been in since beginning of April. Multiple touch points. We broke above that line of resistance just about a week or so ago on July 18th. Since then, we have been seeing some pretty price action, as you'd expect following macro breakouts. But Bitcoin, I mean, following this macro reversal, following what is now a legitimate short-term uptrend, because we did break the long-term downtrend, of course, we look to be wanting to set in a series of higher highs and higher lows. So right now we are in that series of higher highs and higher lows. High, low, higher high. Looks like we want to establish a higher low here. Some could say this is maybe shaping up to be a little head and shoulders pattern, shoulder, head, shoulder. I don't think so. This is looking a lot more to me like a higher low in this overall reversal trend to the upside. And I do think that at the very least, Bitcoin will set in a new higher high, and with the massive caveat that earnings have to be decent this week. In the case that earnings just crash and burn over the course of this week, the blood within the equity markets will likely bleed over into the crypto markets as well. So if that happens, that obviously throws everything out the window. But in the short term, it's looking a lot more bullish and bearish, just objectively. And if earnings are decent this week, again, we've had a 70% hit rate so far, 70% beat on analyst expectations as of now. In the case that that holds, I think it's almost guaranteed that Bitcoin at the very least comes up to retest the previous low on the downtrend that we've been in since April, or I mean, I guess since those November all-time highs. Just retest the previous low on this downtrend, which is technically at just under $27,000. But it also wouldn't surprise me if we come down to this area right here, just kind of what acted as more of a floor for Bitcoin, aside from a few candles, a few token 4-hour candles. I do think it's possible that we come up to maybe $28,000 to $29,000. But I do think around 27,000 is very likely from here. I do think that will be the next wave up. I do think that is the next higher high on this short-term uptrend. And that, of course, is good news for cryptocurrencies overall and crypto equities. So as promised, let's take a quick look at Render. Render is outperforming most. Render, what I love about Render, and I covered this, I think, in price targets on Thursday or Friday as well to the newsletter fan. The volume we're seeing on Render is amazing. And this just recycled, of course, but Render has an average volume of about 2 million, which for a cryptocurrency with a $300 million market cap that's ranked like number 150 on CoinMarketCap, we can actually take a quick look. Let's take a quick look at CoinMarketCap. Boom. So we can take a quick look at CoinMarketCap. Let's take a quick look at Render. Boop. Render. RNDR. Render is rank, what are we? 152 on CoinMarketCap. Currently a market cap of 150 million, so way lower than I expected. A fully diluted market cap of 300 million. So the fact that we're seeing, I mean, this level of volume on a cryptocurrency this small, again, average volume of 1.8 mil, just sub 2 million. And in the past, just in the past 24 hours prior to this chart recycling 15 minutes ago, we were at 3 mil volume. So yesterday, Render saw 3 million in volume, which is, once again, for a token this far down on the list and a market cap this small is very impressive. So I do like to see the volume. Again, volume is great when it comes to discovery, because ultimately volume correlates to positive price. I mean, volume goes both ways, but considering things have been so bearish and we're in winter time, winter in the summer, I guess, crypto winter, you know what I'm saying? It's good news that we're seeing this volume in Render, and ultimately volume will translate to price discovery and really understanding what the project's about. And if you guys have been around here for a while, you would know why I'm very bullish on Render from a long-term time horizon perspective. Render, I do think, will be, can reach a $10 billion market cap someday, which I did the math in the newsletter, and I remember that translates to about $40 per token. So I personally think Render has so much upside ahead of it. I'm not saying this is going to happen in the next month, 6 months, year. Hey, maybe it takes 3 to 5 years. But I do think that during the next bull market cycle, Render can provide some life-changing returns if you were to invest at these levels of 60 cents. Of course, not financial advice, but always know, you guys, my money's where my mouth is. And I think Render has a lot of potential ahead of it. So from a price action perspective, I do think that Render can see some upside. My price target has been around 80 cents for a while. And that is to retest this previous line of resistance. Could come into play as previous line of support, this yellow line right here on the uptrend, once broken, will act, not guaranteed, but a lot of time does tend to act as new resistance. And in the case that we see that by around the end of the month, July 28th, just where the cursor is falling in line with just this historical area that has acted as both the ceiling and floor for Render in the past, this green line, that'll take us to just above 80 cents by the end of the month. So, of course, from here, that is some impressive upside. Take a quick look at that price range. Boop, boop. That would be about 35% from where we're currently at 60 cents. So that's Render, you guys. Of course, I do give a lot more frequent updates on these tokens in the newsletter. So once again, if you want to know how I'm personally trading on a day-to-day basis, if you want to know what the portfolio is looking like, if you want to know what my thoughts are in a much more timely manner than having to wait for the YouTube videos later in the day and just a few times a week, because we have slowed down the YouTube content, I'm still doing this every day. I spend the far majority of my time every day writing the newsletter, and I do take a lot of pride in it. So once again, check out the first link down below if you want to join the winning team. And once again, I'll catch you in the comments downstairs as well, just to talk shop about whatever you guys want. So until next time, always remember, take action, make waves. There we go, make waves. That one looked off. Take action, make waves. Peace, team.